watchers, and welcome to the Lay of the Film Exorcist. Now, like last time, before we start, go ahead and tell me down in the comments section below what the weirdest anime you have ever seen was. Personally, I really don't know myself because most of the shows until now have actually been interesting to me, but that may change pretty soon. Because tonight, we will be taking a look at How Clumsy You Are, Miss Ueno. The show is about a perverted girl who tries to use her inventions to get her crush to fall for her. Now, on to my opinion. Let me just start by saying these 6 little words. What the hell am I watching? I ask this because after each episode, I literally can't understand why I'm putting myself through something as weird as this show. But before I go on, who created this? Turns out it's a studio called L'Esprit, whose only projects involve spin-offs for Cinderella Girl and some show called Tanuki to Kitsune. So yeah, I'm very lost when it comes to any knowledge of why this show is so awkward. Now let me start with the characters, starting with Ueno, our main protagonist who just wants her crush to understand her feelings. But she does this in a very awkward way by putting him in some of the most perverted situations, like trying to get him to drink her purified urine, or having him look up her skirt while she uses dark matter as a physical sensor. Wow, I bet a lot of girls would really want that sensor, but it's never gonna happen, because we don't know how to do science. Now, I don't know what weirdo thought of this character, but I definitely know a 9th grader would never act as strange as her, even if she's supposed to be socially awkward due to her high intellect. But I say that I did find most of her reactions to be pretty funny, so that's a plus. And actually, she's also voiced by the same actress that did Patty in Devil May Cry, which might also be why she does seem kind of annoying. I mean, God. And it's nothing against the voice actor, it's just the character, mostly. Next, we have Tanuki, the painfully oblivious main character that Ueno is constantly trying to embarrass in every episode. Now, I don't know if he's just clueless as hell, or he really doesn't care at all when it comes to Ueno's feelings, but I mean, he ignored her when she straight up told him through her friend that she's in love with him, with a big speech. So he could also just be a complete idiot, which is taking this familiar trope way too far, which can ruin the show, and he's really the least interesting character of the show, which is very similar to how I felt when I talked about Kaguya-sama's main characters. So this seems like a new trend for a lot of shows these days. Finally, we have Yamashita, the protective friend of Ueno, who seems very similar to Yuki from Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya, due to how much she seems to love reading, and she's pretty quiet, except for when she's constantly accusing Tanuki of sexual harassment, or she's getting mad at him for being so clueless as hell, which is why she's kind of my favorite character next to Tamon, the literal living pair of tights that the club keeps as a pet. So it makes sense why I like her so much compared to the rest. And you heard me right, guys. A literal living pair of tights as a pet. I mean, yeah, it doesn't look like tights now after the experiment, but I mean, it's tights in the shape of a pig. What the hell? So, I'm pretty mixed on the characters as a whole, as you can see. Next, we have the story, which is pretty bland, to be honest. I mean, similar to Kaguya-sama, each episode does the exact same thing, except it's a different invention each time. But the story still has the same ending every time. I mean, she fails so many times, I don't even think that this is gonna get anywhere. I don't even think there's gonna be a second season of this crap. What I mean is, Ueno tries to get Tanaki to be a part of her experiments, to which he sometimes agrees to, and it ends with her getting embarrassed and ending the experiment, and this cycle goes on for 2 segments per episode, so it's like watching 24 5-minute episodes of the same thing over and over again, with very little development. Which is why I didn't really care about her goals after the first episode, and mostly focused on the new inventions that she would create. I mean, a lot of these inventions were pretty cool, like the swimsuit that causes you to float through midair if a door is closed, or the undergarments that turn your sweat into drinkable water. And these are just 2 of the 22 other inventions that could really help the world, but they're sadly stuck in this show. And we may never see them again. Really, I would have been more interested in the show if Ueno sold these items to people so she could make it a better place, instead of doing it for her own perverted ideas. But hey, what can you do? I mean, yeah, you do have some scenes where she does give them to the random character that comes in and we never see again, but that's about it. Am I the only smart one here? So yeah, I'd have to say that this show is pretty forgettable, and I don't plan on returning to it anytime soon, which is why I'm giving it a 3 out of 10 for a weak story, way too many awkward moments, but also because of the 2 great characters and the many interesting inventions. I'd honestly tell you to skip this one unless you're interested in shows like Kaguya-sama, so don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you guys next week. So please try to keep your perverted ideas to yourself, especially in the comment section, guys. We don't want another one of Ueno coming out into the world. So, good night, guys.